What's up, guys? I just want to show you the type of equipment that we're using here at Easy Eddies and get you a little bit more familiar with how it's used and the specific details of the various most important implements of the company. So, first and foremost, of course, is the chainsaw. This is the thing that started it all. The top handle saws are of a balanced variety that can be held in one hand and be used with one hand. It's not that they're recommended to be used with one hand, but they're able to be handled, moved, and positioned using one hand, even if you're cutting with two hands. These saws are primarily used for climbing. This is not a ground saw. We do not use this on the ground. We don't use it by the chipper. If you're making cuts on the ground, you use back handle saw. It's got positioning that takes place between your two hands, and you can't use this with one hand. It's not possible. And if you can, if it is possible, it's still not recommended. We don't do one-hand cutting with these saws. This is my motorized pole saw. It's a very expensive piece of equipment. I try to take care of it. These are just two of the ropes that I use. This is my climbing rope. This is 16 strand woven climbing rope. This is not generally used for anything other than climbing, and it's my personal rope. It's my safety line, and I am the only person who uses this rope. This is 3-strand rope. You can see it's got a twisted appearance to it. This is a twisted rope with a capacity somewhere around the 7,500 pound brake strength. Well, they call it tensile strength, but that's essentially brake strength is very close to that. So you want to use loads that are less than around 2,000 for this rope here. This is the cube. It opens up into a cube shape, and inside it are bean bags like this one and this yellow cord. This is my throw line. This is my throw bag, or my throw ball. This cord is used to install ropes in the tree, whether it's for rigging purposes or for climbing purposes. It saves us the necessity of having to climb to every tie-in point. This device is called the porter wrap. Not all tree services use a porter wrap, but here we do. This is a smaller porter wrap. It maxes out at 3/4 inch rope, and really it's better to have a larger one, but I've had this one all this time and it works just fine. This rope that goes to it is dedicated to the porter wrap and doesn't go to anything else. They always stay together. When I store it, I wrap it up like this so that there's not a lot of extra tail moving around inside the truck. It keeps things from getting tangled up as much. This is just one example of a carabiner. I use 3 different kinds of carabiners. There's a double action carabiner, which is like this one. Twist, open, okay? Single action carabiner, which you just pull and open. And there's the screw lock carabiner that you screw and it won't open. You unscrew and it will open. So now you can see this one works just like a single action carabiner, unless you screw it. We don't use these ones as much. This tote is where I'm keeping my climbing kit right now. So inside here I have my harness, my gaffs. These are also my spikes. I call them my spikes. This is my flip line. It's just a piece of rope with carabiners on it. This is my hand saw. It's just a handheld manual saw. This device is a friction saver. It's got a ring on this end which operates just like a pulley, and it's got holes throughout all the length of it. So depending on the size of tree that you're going around, you can make it small or big. You just put the metal loop through the hole once you go around the tree. So you'd link it around the tree like this. Put it through, and then when force is applied to this, that'll tighten. That's how you hook that up to the tree. I use this in the tree more often than anything else. These are my climbing boots. These are only for climbing. This is my wedge bag. I keep my falling wedges inside this bag. It's always in this bag. These wedges are used for various things, between taking trees down, cutting off stumps, bucking logs if they're large and they need to prevent pinching. These are always in this bag. This is my forestry axe. It's the main striking tool that I use for applying the wedges. This is the pole saw that goes on the end of my fiberglass poles. These fiberglass poles right here are used for mounting either this cutter right here with the hook on it, or this pruning shear. We don't usually use the pruning shear. You can see I have ordinary rakes. I have several of those. The pitchfork for cleanup on piles of dead sticks or tangled sticks. The dirt rake, used for cleaning up sticks that are too large for the regular rake. And the blower, used for blowing small materials. We also use Husqvarna bar oil here. Normally my gas is either in this can right here or this can right here. These are simple mechanisms. It's simply a plunger. You pull this handle back and tip the can such that the gas is able to pour out through the nozzle. And this one likewise is a plunger. You simply pull this handle back and you see the plunger retract here, and the gasoline is able to escape through the nozzle if the can is tilted. These are the bottles I use for my two-stroke mix. I use Husqvarna, but I use these bottles that I've already had for a long time, and I fill them to the mark. Each one of these bottles is used for a gallon. I'm the only person in the company who mixes the two-cycle mix. This is my kit of chainsaw tools that comes with us to every job. And here we have the chainsaw vise, the stump vise. You pound it in using an axe or a hammer into a piece of wood and are able to hold the chainsaw steady for sharpening. I have several sizes of round files here. This larger size is used for the 3/8 pitch chain on larger saws. This 5/32 file is used for the chain on the smaller chainsaws, the 3/8 micro and the 325 chain. This is a scrunch. This is the tool that we use to take chains off or put chains on the chainsaw. Notice that it has a flathead on the end. There's also this tool, which has the star. This has the Torx tip on it. If you get this tool, it won't be usable for reattaching the chain on a chainsaw. This flat file is used for lowering the rakers on a chain. Other tools in here, this tool is used for adjusting carburetors on saws that have traditional carburetors. This is a depth gauge setter. It's a tool that basically helps you set the depth gauges on the chain itself. And we have spare files in here. Each file gets a limited number of uses before it's thrown out. This is the Bobcat. This machine has to be serviced every 10 hours. It has simple hydraulic controls. It's a very powerful machine. It weighs 3,000 pounds. And it's only to be run by operators who have been given authorization. This is the winch. We only have one winch. It's on the front of the Dodge truck. This winch is able to pull, according to what it's advertised, 17,500 pounds. I haven't yet had anything that it couldn't pull over. If we need to do serious pulling, we use the winch with the person in the driver's seat with their foot on the brakes while the truck is in reverse or drive. Normally in reverse, in case we need to take up additional slack quickly. These are the headsets we use. This is a Sena headset with Bluetooth mesh technology. When we are wearing these headsets, we're able to talk to each other in a normal conversational tone during the job. The person who's working under the tree has to wear the helmet. This is for my foreman. The headband style is for the guy who's operating regular groundwork. He's running the chipper, etc. These are ear protection and radio, and are able to connect to your phone. As a side note, if there are enough headsets, everyone is required to have one for communication purposes. I provide these gloves to the workers. These are nitrile rubber gloves. This helps you have a glove that's not a big deal if it gets lost. They're not very expensive, but they're comfortable and easy to work in. And by the way, I like to keep 5-gallon buckets in each truck for trash cans, so that way we can take them out whenever we want and dump the trash out at the end of the day or in the morning. This is the dump trailer we use for hauling the Bobcat or carrying wood or both. As you can see, it's got a manual jack handle. It is a tandem trailer, which means it takes corners a little funny sometimes. And it has ramps that go into these slots underneath the deck. And they have to be installed with these pins. And we can demonstrate that in another video. These gates have to be secured back. Whenever we're parked by the side of the road or on a windy day or we're dumping, this D-ring right here clicks down onto that and it prevents the door from being able to swing down. That keeps the hinges from being damaged during use. This is the chipper truck. On the side of the chipper truck we have side toolboxes and a ladder. This is a manual transmission truck. This is not for the faint of heart. It makes a lot of noise, but it has a rebuilt trans and the truck is in good maintenance. This is the wood chipper. This is a Morbark M12R. Inside this door right here is the control panel and the gauges. This is the key. It's cut off because we had to replace the ignition. And this is the engagement, the clutch engagement handle here. Not a lot to see about this except for that's the chipper, and you should always inspect the hitch whenever you drive this truck. This is the flatbed trailer. It's the only implement now that uses a lunette ring. This uses a different kind of hitch. This is the hitch that's used. This is called a pintle hitch. You cannot tow a lunette ring trailer without a pintle hitch. It is not possible. People will die. Don't do it. This is a chain binder, and that's transport chain. We use this chain binder for holding down the Bobcat whenever it's parked on top of plywood inside the dump trailer. Or if the Bobcat is on the back of the flatbed trailer, we always use chains. Plywood generally comes with us on jobs when we have the Bobcat. I normally have a cooler of drinks back here, whether it's water, Gatorade, Red Bull, whatever's at the store that day. That yellow can has the diesel in it. That's the backup diesel for the Bobcat. That blue can is supposed to have diesel in it in case the Ford runs out of diesel. And that's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot else to see here as far as the business goes. When we're going to a tree job, we have to know what tools are needed and have to be able to get them. And if you don't know what a tool is, it behooves you to learn the name of it. Most of this stuff is very simple. You've basically seen everything that's required to do tree jobs now. The only thing that's left is actually to learn how to use all these things. If you already know how to use them, then well, good for you, and you should be able to make a good living anywhere knowing just those simple facts. I don't know why it's so hard to learn. It seems like maybe most people don't have much interest in learning these things, but if you take an interest in learning these things and how to use them and what they're for, and the methods and the techniques that are required, you can become a successful and lucrative tree service contractor. So best of luck out there, and I'll see you in the next video.